just re-recording a video that I've already made, but I just feel, well, I wasn't satisfied with it because I feel like it was a little bit too long. Who knows what will happen here anyway. I'm going to talk about the appointment of the district attorney to the 11th Judiciary in Colorado. Why am I even remotely interested in what's going on in Colorado local body politics and the court systems? Well, because I've been following true crime cases in Colorado since about 2016 absolutely avidly, and so that's why. Kaitlin Turner was the incumbent, not for very long, and I think she'd sort of been put into the role, maybe not by election, but because someone left or was shafted out. So Kaitlin Turner was in the role and, you know, not very well qualified or experienced in particular relation to what the role requires. To be a real mover and shaker there, to really be, you know, moving at speed and efficiently. And this kind of thing can put people into a vulnerable position because they're vulnerable for taking advice of people that may not have the best interests of the whole at heart, but their own interests, okay? So Kaitlin Turner, she had, and I don't know if it's related, but she had the support to stay in the position from 3 of the 4 counties in this 11th Judiciary. So judiciaries are generally made up by a few counties. It just creates this region, I guess. And it's got Chaffee County, Fremont, both of those true crime people would have heard of quite a lot, Park and Custer. So Fremont, Park and Custer county sheriffs were supporting Kaitlin and staying in the role. And Sheriff Spezze from Chaffee County, from what I understand, he wasn't, and he seems to embrace quite a bit of change. Anywho, so that's a little bit about Turner and who was the candidate that was up against her and won. So it's Republican Linda Stanley. Fremont, you know, was a real landslide for her, and it is a Republican county traditionally. And here is a woman that is super qualified, beautiful experience for the role because she's got government administrative qualifications and experience. She's worked in various departments like the Department of Revenue. She was appointed there in 2010. I think she was the Deputy DA in the 10th Judiciary. She's been a policewoman and been through law school, you know, and worked as a prosecutor. So, you know, she's got ability, she's got experience, okay, and the election was quite convincing. She had 32,000 versus sort of 20,000 or something like that. Did I write that down? 31,115 compared to 20,423 for Kaitlin. So, I mean, Kaitlin, yeah, that's a decisive win, but it wasn't like a disgrace, I don't think. So Linda Stanley, you know, what's great about getting her into office? Well, you know, she likes people to have a second chance, and people with mental illness, you know, mental health issues that they are living with. People, she wants to have a court, a special court for those cases so that people can maybe be put into mandatory treatment rather than prison. This is fabulous because there's not a lot of great treatment in prison and people can go downhill. Same with drug offenders. Okay, so does DUI court that she wants to create. I don't know if that does drugs or just people drinking under the influence. But again, you know, different types of punishment sort of thing, you know, being treated rather than and educated and helped rather than put into prison. So this is a good thing, because prisons are full up with people with mental health issues and people with drug issues, people that aren't getting, you know, any harm reduction support, etc. So this is great. And both of these, sorry, I'm picking at my face and everything. Both of these women, it's just hair is stuck everywhere. Both of these women have had scandals, okay? Now, Kaitlin, this may come about because it's just the way social media is. It could have been set up like this, because on, did I write the date? Yeah, on the 23rd of September, okay, 23rd of September, Lisa Pascoe made a complaint against Turner for First Amendment's free speech violations. She reported that Kaitlin was deleting posts of her constituents on her Facebook campaign page, and that she was reposting videos, perhaps after, you know, it's delete, repost, and removing campaign videos is what is written that she was had complaints about, and, you know, censoring her constituent communications. She also used the Fremont County Sheriff's logo on her campaign Facebook page. So this was on September the 23rd that these complaints were made. You know, maybe because I'm paranoid and I've seen how social media works, maybe if someone was sent to the page to make comments that are so disgusting or unnerving or something that it might prompt a naive person just to remove them. I even asked about this, about the county sheriff, the Chaffee's county Facebook page, thinking, why aren't some of these, you know, 365 comments, you know, with that certain person and the way it went, why aren't they being removed? But it seems like maybe they can't legally remove it or block someone, you know, because of First Amendment free speech. So that kind of makes sense, right? And this could be a tool, wouldn't you think? This might be a tool to use. Anyway, so on September the 10th, Turner's husband, I think his name's Lawrence, he accused Linda Stanley of illegal campaigning, prohibited contributions, failure to report expenditure. The complaint alleges Stanley's campaign, she campaigned inside Fremont County Courthouse and failed to report expenditures relating to campaign literature, and distributed this literature inside the courthouse. She accepted contributions exceeding the limits, the set limits, for use in online advertising, signage, billboards, etc. Okay, now Turner's allegations, they were dismissed, and not enough evidence or something. And, you know, Stanley's, which actually appear to be actually serious allegations to do with campaigning, it was found, you know, there could be potential violations of the finance laws, you know, but she's filed a notice to cure, notice of intent to cure, okay? And this hasn't been settled, even though, you know, she's been appointed to office, right? Now, you'd think someone with Linda Stanley's background, experience, education, knowledge of the system, she knows how to look things up. This is not the role. The buck stops with Linda Stanley, okay, because her role that she's campaigning for, it's up to her to be a leader and to make the decisions and to keep the tight ship, okay, and run it how she sees fit, how she wants to present herself, because this is her reputation, and she's going into office and she needs to protect that reputation. So the buck stops with her as to what type of campaign is run, what sort of tactics are used, and everything under scrutiny stops with her. Now, she can try to fob this off onto some sort of campaign manager, the team, the volunteers, whatever it is, but it's her responsibility at the end of the day to protect and uphold her own integrity. And there is a Colorado campaign and political finance manual, which we can all look up. This is a very well written document, and it's a helpful document too, because for very busy people like Linda Stanley, who is working a lot more hours than I do, for example, because she is extremely busy and no doubt had a lot on her plate at the time. Well, she could have just looked at the quick reference. I think those are starting from page 44 that relate to her. But it's got information on contributions, fundraising, expenditure, reporting, what's prohibited, what are the limits for both receiving and spending in your campaign. Linda Stanley, did you read it? Or did she cast her astute lawyer's brain over this and decide that she could push the boundaries and get away with this? And when she files her notice of intent to cure, that'll just be passed through too, and everything will be okay. She'll just put some paperwork in, fiddle a few numbers maybe, or maybe it's just assumed that they might have been wrong. There are some places that it's prohibited for her to receive funding from as it is running for DA office. There are a lot of capped, contributions, whether it's from individuals or certain places for $250 or $600 US, anywhere up to, maybe $20,000 or whatever. Don't you want to know who is funding this horse's race? Not calling her a horse, but she is a beautiful leggy blonde. Have you seen her? She shoots guns. She's all over sorts of. She's got image sewn up. So is this why she really says that she loves giving people a second chance, because good people make mistakes sometimes? This is part of her campaign. And speaking of the legal side of things, this isn't her first scandal, and not saying that being issued a censure from the Colorado federal court is a scandal or too much of a blot, but in 2019 she took on a client who needed to go to court, and she was going to take his case to trial to help him as his attorney, and we say barrister and over here, so I think you say lawyer. Anyway, during the first week or so of taking on this particular client, Linda Stanley was appointed to the Deputy Department of Revenue, like a government job. She took on, a type of role where she was leaving private practice, and her obligation is to advise her clients immediately. She did not advise this client. Instead, she sends him an invoice. She wants his money. She wants to make sure she gets his money maybe before she of what he owed to date, before maybe she tells him she couldn't follow through with taking his case to court, because maybe he'd save the money for the next lawyer or something, and then she threatened him saying, well, I can't give you a referral. This is maybe how it works. I can't give you a referral to use another lawyer. Maybe there's a reason why. If there's a court date, something has to happen a certain way when a lawyer moves from one to another, when a client is moved from one to another for a certain various reason. I don't know, maybe I could ask family who are lawyers, but it's different everywhere, I guess, around the world. But, you know, she acted in good faith toward this client who she basically dumped and burned because of money. She said that, well, I'm not going to be able to refer you. His whole court thing, it was a big disaster from what I understand. And you know, it seems like she really left him in the lurch. She didn't really have that good faith attitude, that attitude of integrity. She just needed to write a referral. That was her obligation. And what do you think about the strong-arming over, well, making sure she gets her fee? Because there's other mechanisms that allow for, you know, debt collection and that sort of thing. And I don't feel that it's showing integrity to use things as leverage or to bribe your own client. Okay, saying you're going to screw up their case and their future. Because, you know, first things first, because this is just business sometimes, you know. But anywho, you know, so that's maybe playing, you know, that's showing an attitude to financials, and, you know, perhaps just saying, well, I look after myself, I run a tight ship, I'm entitled to be paid, and I'm not being bullied or let down by anybody. But, you know, is it this sort of kind of two-faced thing where, well, she's pretty free and easy when it's her, but pretty strict on other people, when she's happy to accept, you know, what is it? Who are these backers? How much money did they give her? And what would she owe them in return? Seems like she didn't need the money for Fremont County, but did she need it elsewhere? Well, you might think, well, she's going to play hardball with the boys club in Chaffee County. You're salivating over it as if somehow, you know, she's going to be appointed. Spezze's out, who wasn't speaking up against her. He wanted change. He wants things cleaned up, but you're all thinking somehow she's going to call out some sort of corruption in Chaffee County. Well, is this where she needed the boost to get in? Or did she need it in Park or in Custer? Who is her backer? Where are these financial allegations stemming from? You know, with not reporting. Why is she not reporting? Why is she overspending to make sure she gets in somewhere, especially when it's a Republican stronghold? So what really is going on here? And, you know, why didn't she want to be upfront with contributions, etc. and spendings? There's a reason why these boundaries are put in place, and it's part of it is probably to make this fair race and to stop corruption. Okay, so imagine if someone gave her $50,000 towards her campaign and she gets in. How beholden is she to this person? What have been the behind the scenes negotiations? You see what I'm saying? So it is important. It is important. Okay, sorry, I am yelling. So sorry. So I think you're just getting this dichotomy here of how Linda presents herself. I mean, she's slick. Okay, she's slick. She's a career, you know, she's got all the ingredients, okay, to make a very sharp person and a mover and a shaker, a negotiator. She gets what's going on behind the scenes, and she is a marketer. She's marketing to the public, but she has gaslit the public in a way. She's saying to them, oh, look, you know, what did she say? I just want to quote her. She's quoted as saying she doesn't want to speculate about the reason behind the decisive win from the voters. She'd like to think they did their research and they picked who they believed to be the best candidate. And she's going to, quote unquote, hit the ground running. So, and you know, and this is a direct strike against Turner she's making here, because, you know, Turner couldn't hit the ground running. Turner was put in a really tough position, however she came across that role, okay, because she wasn't experienced or educated in the right manner, and she couldn't possibly hit the ground running, no matter what her good intentions, her drive, or her love of constituents is, okay. So she's just a different type of person. She's not a Linda Stanley. And here we have Linda Stanley saying, don't look at all the other stuff that got me in. Don't look at the fact that I had a lot of financial support, that I moved and shaked maybe in a way that I shouldn't have, and I've spent a lot of money on this campaign, and don't look at where it came from. You know, this isn't why I'm in, you know, this amazing, you know, marketing campaign that I've had that was highly funded, more so than Kaitlin's. It's not because of, after she accused me of this, that she had her own scandal with First Amendment issues on her Facebook page for her campaign. It's not because it's not because, you know, all of these other issues, you know, you've just made a great decision. You're amazing. I know you did your research. You thought about this for weeks, if not months, and you're pretty sharp. You're politically savvy. You know what's right for your jurisdiction. You know I'm right for it. We are the same. Look, I even have this faith in God. See my tat? It's not just a sleeve. No, no, no. This is just a little tat, and it's all about my faith in God. I'm quoting Pope Paul VI. He is a conservative pope. But, you know, he says, and this is what my tattoo says: seek peace and truth, veritas. Seek peace and truth through justice. Now that would be great, just like that, through justice. But it's for the greater glory of God. So this is her mission on earth that she's telling you, but it's for the greater good of God, and maybe herself. You know, not the human race, not Homo sapiens, who have developed a moral code over a very long period of time, not for Homo sapiens who have developed a moral code through experience and know what is required to serve. Sorry, I'm still yelling, but I'm passionate about this. To do the right thing for, you know, to provide for human needs, wants, experience, you know, development, etc. Okay, God and politics, they don't mix. I believe in secular office, and I feel that that's how everything should be. Don't get me started on religion and politics and taxes and etc. Okay, so, you know, the welfare of humankind, not to please God and what the human construct of God and his word, it's not to make this happy, therefore to make a control mechanism requirements met. Okay, you've got to leave it at the door. Okay, you've got to leave it at the door. You know, you don't need God to assist you in not harming the human race and this spaceship that we're living on, this little speck in this infinite universe. Okay, we will never know, Homo sapiens and the hominid race that we will eventually evolve into, probably, we will never know the origin of the universe. Okay, we will never know. Big Bang speculation. Okay, or is it a theory? I don't know, you know. Someone will come for me about that, or no doubt a couple of subs will educate me when I misspeak. Now, my notes from when I first made this video, was there something I wanted to mention? So sorry, this is like watching paint dry. Where are the crickets? Where's my cricket from the other day, eh? Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, but you know, human rights and social justice and understanding the ethics behind that and the morality, you know, and the ability to lead people through and you know, for peace on earth and for justice for human beings and for justice for the downtrodden, you know, the way that Linda Stanley nobly wants to assist people better that end up in court because, you know, who have mental health issues, all sorts of issues, okay? That is wonderful, okay? I hope, you know, that's wonderful. So, you know, I've just written a quote here. I think it's, I think I wanted to find something from your American sites because a lot of viewers might be American because of the true crime that I cover. But, you know, this relates in general to what most humanist organizations would express. So, you know, to be a successful, pragmatic, ethical politician who reaches professional and personal fulfillment, aspiring for the greater good. Now, this is the greater good of the human race. It does not take a belief in God, and I'd say, you know, a belief in God or this personal relationship with Jesus Christ, etc., you know, or an open strategic announcement of such faith and lifestyle belief system. You know, it doesn't take this belief. You know, morality and righteousness is not the bastion of the religious. You know, yeah. So I really believe that it's this life here and now. It's this here and now. We have to base our decisions on how we move forward as a race to protect our futures, our planet's health, you know. So this is our children and our environmental consciousness. We owe it to ourselves and others to just make decisions based on our tangible world and universe, okay? And I'm so sorry, but God isn't this, okay? We have to compassionately base our decisions on science and human experience, actual, you know, and not even though genetic links are made to religion, that's a personal choice that you can keep at home, you can enjoy for yourself, you can take strength from your faith, find hope, find comfort, find belonging, find, you know, service, etc. This is a beautiful thing, you know, most of the time and for most people. But it doesn't belong making decisions for human beings in sense of what political office is there to do. It doesn't, I don't want people making decisions about me that might be based on faith or based on just tradition that is used as a tool and things like that, you know. I'm not there for it, right? So, you know, how do you feel about all of this, rolling it all together, you know? How do you feel about Linda Stanley and how she presents and who she is? Do you think that she's been using her knowledge and skill in a fair way, or is it a little bit underhand, and has she actually broken some laws that she's going to sort of get a way around? Or, you know, who owns her? What is her integrity level when it comes to these things? You know, how she played this game of getting into office. the cold case unit that she wants to set up. This has got a lot of people excited. Colorado is a cesspit when it comes to unsolved missing persons cases and unsolved, sexual violence cases. We can all agree that too many cases just go cold. Why are people sitting around for confessions and things like this? What is going on? I mean, from the insidious, dark, depraved, Denver in the 90s system, and things before and things that have come after. Colorado has serious law enforcement issues, doesn't it? And I'm so sorry. And this relates a lot to the type of cases that, people that come to my channel are interested, because I talk about them, okay? So, and I'm extremely disturbed by crimes against children and these cases of missing women who these cases need to be solved. So this is amazing. But has this drawn people along? What about this wait and see, okay? Just wait and see. Don't get sucked into the vortex of the tornado, the Stanley tornado. It's the hype, okay? Because you need to say, okay, here is this woman who has every ability to understand the legality, the law, the principles of her campaigning, what every candidate is beholden to do, required to do, and the buck stops with her. She can't fob this off on someone else. Why didn't she report in time? Why can it be alleged that she has received funds that are over limits? Why has she received funds that, spent funds that are over cappings? Why has she done things like campaign inside courthouses and all these things that just are inappropriate or illegal? But she's telling you that people have voted for her because they just know, they've done their research and they just find her to be the best thing since sliced bread. Is there something connecting her being reported for running a questionable campaign and the subsequent bringing down of Kaitlin Turner for First Amendment, free speech violations on social media that we here all know, these accounts that are made in a day, all the time, every day. We've got these copycat accounts, these clone accounts, if you will, these trolling accounts. Is this what's happened to Kaitlin Turner? Maybe she should be out, and maybe it's not good that she's had the support of 3 counties, Custer, Park, and Fremont County. Did they want to keep her in because they like her? She is going to come right. It's not as bad as people are saying when they're trying to say, it's going to take her years to get up to speed. Maybe she just needs some true on-the-job support. Or, do they like her because she is naive, needy? She can easily be made to do the wrong thing or to do someone's will, without really realizing their motives are being carried out by her. She's being used, essentially, okay? So, I don't know if that, what's the case there? Maybe they were frightened of getting Linda Stanley in. But, don't you... it just has struck something with me. You know, it's not sitting well. I'm not jumping on this bandwagon. You know, she's got a great image, but under the surface, I mean, is she going to be this smooth talker who's going